Hey guys, we just got back from Bad Boys for Life. Joe, you're supposed, Alex, you're supposed to do the Bad Boys. Ah, that's
you
true.
said Bad Boys for Life.
Yeah, it's
Bad
Bad
Boys.
Boys.
What you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
Yeah.
What you gonna do when they come for you for life? Guys, let me just say right off the bat, I really like this film. I was pleasantly surprised by it. Let me say this was directed by Adil El-Arbi and Bilal Fallah. Written by Chris, Peter, and Joe. And
Joe,
these are, but
names.
the reason why I bring that up is because the previous Bad Boys, if you don't know, were directed and, Michael Bay was involved with them, essentially. And who, by the way, has a cameo in this film. And it was really expertly written. It was extremely funny. I mean, so funny. Genuine. Did I say funny?
Yes.
And not only that, but it's
was.
the action. And not only is it funny, but the action is fucking great. And there's plenty of action. What did you guys think?
I came into this not expecting much because this is the third installment of Bad Boys. I was like, all right. This is not going to be very good.
It's going to be worse than the other two.
Yeah.
And if y'all don't know, the critics were not really kind. I looked up the Rotten Tomatoes ratings of the other ones. It's like, 40 and 20 or something crazy like that. But the audiences did enjoy it. I think they were around 70, 80s on both. The same score, 78, 78. So you would think that the third film would probably downturn
Yeah, exactly.
a little bit.
But no, I actually had a lot of fun with this film. Yes, it did have its tropes, but it worked.
Yeah.
It worked for me.
Why did it work so? Do you agree, Alex?
I was really worried coming into this because they, especially Columbia had tried to bring back Men in Black, and that wasn't all that successful. And
I liked Men in Black.
They keep trying to bring some of these new franchises back, and sometimes they don't put a lot of effort into it. And so my expectations weren't very high, and I was actually blown away by how much I enjoyed this film. This film knew what it was.
Yes.
It knew it was over the top. It had fun with it. It made fun of itself.
Such great
A
one-liners.
wooden table blows up. It's like a throw.
I saw that.
There's a
Yeah,
wooden
I was just somebody going to mention this.
a wooden table blows up because someone shoots it with bullets, and then it blows up. And I was like,
Later
know.
on, it explodes.
They know.
They know. And
I mean, it was-
that fucking one-liner, let's not spoil it, but Martin Lawrence's character,
He's very
Marcus,
funny.
gives an excellent one-liner in the climax, but he is so funny throughout the film. And guys, I was thinking I was not gonna like this.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
me
thinking
too.
that this was going to be painfully average, going through the motions. And the trailers did it no favors. After I saw the trailer, I was like, I don't really care. What they make it seem like they got this new team, and there's this new team called Ammo, and in the trailers they make fun of them. Oh, you're what is
High
this?
School
A
Musical.
boy
Guns.
band with guns. And I was like, great, we're gonna get this new team. It's gonna be like an expendable situation where it's like, I don't care about the new team. I want to see the Bad Boys. Well, that's not what it was at all. In fact, it's very much centered on the Bad Boys. It's this story that kind of resonates with me. I'm getting older, and the Bad Boys are getting older. They can't quite do some of the same things that they've done, though the film does take liberties with what they can still do.
Yes.
But it's still very, at least with Marcus, it's realistic when Marcus tries to do something. That's Martin Lawrence's character. And it was awesome, and I fucking loved it, and I highly recommend you go out and see it. You will be entertained. I will be surprised if you're not entertained, and it's just great.
Yeah, I saw the first two, and this one still has their chemistry. I love their chemistry.
Their
Marcus
chemistry is amazing.
and Will and Martin.
Yeah, Martin Lawrence hadn't been doing things lately, right, Joe? Martin Lawrence? We ain't seen him in a while.
The last thing I saw with him was Beach Bum.
Beach Bum?
Yeah, I don't recommend.
No, it's not good. This was better
It's
than
one
that.
of those weird indie films.
Well, surprisingly, I think I might actually like this film more than some of the other Bad Boys. Now, it's granted, it's been a long time since I've seen the first and the second. I haven't seen them anytime soon, but I just you know, from Bad Boys, I remember their chemistry. I remember great car chase sequences. And I remember the famous scene where, he's coming to the door. He's like, "Who are you, motherfucker?" He's trying to scare the guy
Reggie.
who's
Reggie.
there to pick
the
up his
second
daughter. And I'm the uncle. I'm the crazy uncle. You going to have her home by 10? Are you gonna have her home by 10? And it's like, when you see that scene and you're like, I'm gonna be that dad. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna scare the daylight out of anybody that tries to date my daughter. It was funny.
Yeah,
it's hilarious. And so I was like, there's no way that this film is gonna top that scene or come close to the previous films. But it does. It has genuine moments of its own. It actually makes I don't want to say anything, but it's great. It's great. You got great, awesome cars, awesome action sequences. The team is not as annoying as we might have thought. In fact, I started to like some of the team members, and so they managed to get me on that. And go ahead.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, I really like the action. I think what's really important is the movie definitely knows what it's trying to do, and it was very successful in accomplishing that goal. It's not trying to be
too
serious.
Yes.
We've seen so many action movies in the last couple of years where they're just wafting in their own farts, going like, "Oh, look how I'm going to be the next Die Hard. Look how amazing it is." And you can tell that the tone's not right. And this is the exact opposite. They really nailed letting the audience know. It's like, look, we know we're making a Michael Bay. We're resurrecting a Michael Bay franchise. Everything explodes. The comedy is out of place sometimes, and
everything
they had fun with this movie, and so the audience has fun with the movie.
There are moments, and it's not just this random table that explodes. There are times where they shoot one bullet and cars will explode.
Carts being towed is just blowing up.
At just random
but it
pieces.
looked cool, guys. Come on.
It did look
random
cool.
pieces of materials on the backs of trucks will explode if they're shot once as well. But it, like you said, Joe, looks cool. It's a throwback to the Michael Bay days, and it works. And just the story of basically, Mike Lowry wanting to, he's the bad boy of the group, obviously.
Of course, yeah, that's the way
very
been.
driven, but he's getting older now, and eventually you're going to need to find a direction for this, for his rage and his intensity. And that just plays perfectly into this odd couple with Martin Lawrence's character, Marcus, who is contemplating retirement. And,
it's time.
There's
man.
very, it's just,
too old for
making
this shit.
jokes, too old for that stuff. You're coloring your goatee in black, cocoa brown or black or something.
I know what that is.
Yeah. And, and surprisingly, that's executed very well. And in the third film, they don't just sort of rehash things. They actually move the world of Bad Boys forward with several shocking moments in the film that you may not see coming. Quite a few, in fact. I think there's 3 kind of twists, or I don't know if they're twists, but 3 moments where it's like, okay, they're actually doing something with their time here. They actually kind of have a little bit of a story to tell and some things to say. But just, man, almost every single one of the jokes land. In fact, every single one of the jokes landed for me. I was just laughing my ass off and having a great time, just as it should be.
Yeah, the whole theater was, actually.
Yeah. Well, this was a early screening, and so they let they have press, and then they let some fans in as well. And so I'd never want to really let that color me, because the crowd was extra rambunctious and laughing and having a great time. Joe's most annoying thing is when people clap in theaters. He hates it very much.
Shut up, stop.
So every time you hear clapping, think of OtherJoe in a theater, because
do
OtherJoe's in the corners. Like, it's one of the only things.
There's gonna be someone in the theater that doesn't like it either.
Have you been on an airplane when people do it? I hate it when people do it on airplanes.
No.
One of the only times you see Joe visibly upset. All right. Anyways, guys, there's really not much else to say about it. So let's go into final verdicts and, tell me why you liked or lost points. And
for me, I really like the chemistry. It still carries on. And their emotion between these two, you could just tell. Obviously, they've been through a lot together. I liked the story until the end. I didn't like what they did with it.
Okay, yeah, that third reveal.
Yeah, that I was like, no, let's not do
It's
this.
one too many,
Yeah, and for me, I didn't really like the ammo team.
Yeah, you didn't like the ammo
I
team.
didn't.
Interesting.
I just wanted him to focus on them two.
Okay.
Like, obviously, Marcus wants to retire.
But see, they're older now, Joe. They didn't have that team supporting them, and helping them out
could have
in
done it
situations.
that way.
I don't
Maybe
know
no,
if it would have been.
they really
No,
didn't do
you would
much.
have lost. No, they didn't.
Like, oh, I'm the tech guy.
Yeah, right.
Urgh.
2 guys are gonna go in and take on a whole
That's
cartel.
basically
Joe.
what they've been doing the last ones.
The last ones, how many years ago was
The guy
that?
was he was still
1995,
retiring.
Joe? The whole story is that they are older.
It's like
Never mind.
2000.
I'm sorry. This is your segment.
It's one last ride.
Skip. You're supposed
It's
to.
one last ride. Let's do it. And then they go. Like,
Okay. Okay. Joe,
guns blazing.
gotta correct me. Say, it's my time.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, those two things I didn't like. But overall, I had a great time. I did not expect this. I'm going to give this an 8. This is worth
Yep.
your watch.
I saw it coming. An 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Alex, what
I
do
am
you think?
also at an 8 out of 10. I think
Okay.
that this movie was very successful in doing what it set out to do, what I imagine they set out to do. They want to bring this franchise back. They want to recapture the magic with the this duo that everyone loves. I mean, they had a formula that worked, right? Yeah. You have these two be funny. There's the straight man. There's the funny man. There's the everything is blowing up. It doesn't make any sense. Everything's so over the top, but it knows it's over the top and has fun with it. There's plenty
action
of
one-liner.
There's plenty of callbacks. Like if you are either
yeah.
a Hot Fuzz fan, which is one of my favorite movies, because Hot Fuzz has a lot of scenes taken from Bad Boys 2, then you'll recognize some scenes, and there's some cameos from previous ones. So I think they did a really good job. Now, I don't think it's awesome. If you're going there expecting like the best story, you're gonna be disappointed because the story's kind of bad and nothing makes
just
any
there for
sense,
a
and
good
everything's
time.
too over the top. But if you're looking for an action movie, like you can't go
Yeah.
wrong.
Okay, I agree with both these guys. The movie is surprisingly long.
Yeah,
Remember
it was
that?
really long.
Yeah, but not in a negative way to me. In a satisfactory, I got my money's worth way because I was laughing
You're
my
like,
ass
what?
off the
There's
whole
more?
time. There's more. Here we go with the final act, and I'm like, okay, let's do it. Not like all right, let's do it. But it gives you just enough. It's lengthy. I like that. Got my money's worth. I'm honestly trying to find reasons. I'm searching for reasons to not give it a 9 out of 10.
If you loved it, then you loved it.
It's kind of better than it has any right
This is
to
all
be.
European.
It is
I-
definitely better than it has any right. I love that.
Better
That's
than
perfect.
any right it has to be, but it deserves credit for it. They really could have just trotted these guys out in their fucking wheelchairs and just say, here, one more ride, and
phone
then
it
just
in.
kind of leaned on nostalgia without actually providing the same chemistry, comedy, action. And they do all that with good chemistry, action, and comedy, and it's satisfying. So, here's the one. I do have a problem. After talking with you guys,
DJ Khaled should not be in movies.
This
That's a
third
problem.
Okay, yeah, he's got
Another
a cameo.
one.
Another one, Alex. Okay, making money. Now, where Joe says the third twist or third reveal kind of lost him. We'll talk about it in spoilers. I was with you at first. I was like, we don't need to do this. But
don't.
then I'm like, if we didn't do that, it would feel more generic, and at least they were trying to tie some more emotion and uncertainty and camaraderie and an interesting dynamic. So actually, by the end, I was like, no, convince me. All right. Then they had to fuck it up at the end. The very last scene of this film is fucking awful. I don't know what the hell you think you're doing, bad boys. You are not Fast and Furious, okay?
Oh, the post-credit? Or
The
like,
post-credit
It's not in the movie.
scene.
Well, it's like a post-credit scene.
It's a post-title scene because they go smash Bad Boys for Life, and then there's a scene where he goes and something happens. We'll tell you in the spoilers. Awful. But, that really doesn't take away my enjoyment of the film. But you're right that the story is kind of standard. I think I really connected with it because of my age, and I was like, oh, yeah, remember the good old days, Joe, when we was,
Before you
at
had
the
ED.
AngryJoe show first starting it, and now we're all old, and when I got up out of the theater, I could feel my knees. And so all
my
this
back,
movie
man, at the
resonated
gym.
with me. I'm going to give it a fuck. You know what? I'm going to do it. It's a 9 out of
All
10.
right.
It's a 9 out of 10 for me. I really enjoyed it. I might be getting that extra point, pushing it an extra point because I had a good time, good audience, pleasantly surprised. Love Will Smith. Really excellent performance from Martin Lawrence, who has been out of the game for a little while, except for Joe's movie, and kills it. So, 9 out of 10. I really liked it. Go out and see it. I recommend it.
Purchase.
Yeah.
These guys recommend it to go into the theaters. And that's about it. So if you want to check out our spoiler section, definitely do that. Click the links below. We've got some merchandise that you guys can pick up. Appreciate that. Sub to the channel. Maybe consider our new supporting memberships on Patreon and the YouTube join button. So thank you so much. Join us in the spoiler section. If not, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye guys. Hey guys, welcome to the spoiler section.
No.
No.
That
Go ahead.
pissed me off.
Go ahead.
Do
Do you want to go directly to the third reveal, or
okay,
do you
He
want
wants to do the last spoiler first, so everyone's
Okay, no,
confused.
you go ahead.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
No, go ahead. You go
Which
ahead.
Okay, the first scene is a scene from Silence of the Lambs, which we've seen a million times before, which is still kind of cool. It's like a prison break scene where they stab a guard and cover the one who wants to escape in blood, and they dress up them in the guard's outfit, and
Yeah.
when they're pulling him
Hide
out,
the body.
Yeah, and then they hide the body. And so it turns out that it's like this cartel matron that is the one that escaped, and her son. And they go
She's
off.
really into,
They want to take vengeance because they killed his father.
and she's like praise to the
Saint Death.
saints, the saints of
Diablo.
death, and they call her the witch, and
La
she's
bruja.
like, she's crazy, man. She's fucking crazy. And you know what? Let's not do a synopsis because I don't want this to turn into 45 minutes or an hour.
Got it.
So let's just do some of the juicy bits.
Okay, everything explodes. They say funny stuff.
They shoots a car as the principal shooter, the son of the matron, is basically assassinating everybody that had to do with the fact that
The cartel.
imprisoned her, killed the father, and so they're killing the judge, the lawyer, anybody involved, and of course, Mike Lowry is who they're after.
Deep undercover.
And he's escaping at one point, and they shoot a fucking car, and the car immediately explodes. I guess he fired at the gas tank perfectly.
But he was in front.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Whatever,
there's stuff that,
exploded,
but we're not
cool.
saying that's bad. I actually fucking liked it. I laughed at it, and I was like, that's hilarious. But I am again skipping ahead. So the probably the biggest shocking point, and one of the better elements of the movie I forgot to mention in the review is the tension in the film. Like it really shows you that at any moment you could be shot. You could just be a drive-by, and these legendary cops, this bulletproof Will Smith, who has been crazy through all these films, gets fucking shot,
He's
2 or
gotten
3
shot
times.
before.
Yeah, in the first 10
Yeah.
minutes, but he got shot like 6 times.
Oh yeah,
and-
this one was
Guy
like
gets 3 shots, so I guess he technically is bulletproof.
When he
So
died.
Martin Lawrence's character Mark is praying to God that his partner will make it through, and it's
sad,
genuine.
yeah.
It sounds stupid on paper, but it's like really sad and genuine. And he's like, I won't bring any more violence into this world because he realizes the past 2 films he brought a lot of violence.
That was a lie, though.
Yeah, it comes through. They kind of dropped that kind of relatively quick. I thought they were going to save it at the end for some mega trope where it's Martin Lawrence who saves him in the
Well,
end
he
by
kinda
firing a
did.
bullet. But
Yeah, we kinda get there.
no. He ends his thing a lot sooner. And it's funny because Will Smith's character manipulates him into thinking that they're on this motorcycle and they find a fucking M60 machine gun. And he's like, God gave you this.
Yeah, he
This is
gave you the
only-
You're a
answer.
weapon
We're in
of God.
trouble.
It's a weapon of God. And he's like, really? And he like convinces him, and so he starts firing and shit. Now he could have used that M60 a lot more effectively to shoot the helicopter.
didn't have his
He didn't have
Glasses
his
on.
glasses.
All
He's
right.
old, remember?
Nice, guys.
yeah.
Nice.
He's
I
like,
love it.
Put your glasses on.
I
You
was
ain't
trying to
shoot shit.
I was trying to nitpick the film, but this film does have answers for it.
does.
So the 3 reveals. Let's go to the first one. The first one, Mike Lowry is shot.
Second one, what's his name? Roger. The guy's back in. The guy you seen, the boyfriend, they actually get married.
Reggie?
Reggie.
That's not a reveal.
That
That's
was a
fun
real
cameo.
That was really fun. I
awesome,
loved
though.
seeing Reggie.
So the
back.
guy that showed up, hey, motherfucker,
actually
you
stuck
come-
around.
He actually stuck around, and he married.
Come on, that was a good
so
one.
good.
That was
And
great,
they
yeah.
attend the wedding, and he's crying. And at first, the camera makes you think that, oh, 6 months later he's died and,
like,
and
no.
whatever.
How many
but no,
times-
he's there at
so
the wedding.
tropey.
But
It is, but it
everybody
worked.
knew it, and we were in on it.
Yeah,
and
we were
that's
only
why it
20
was
minutes
cool.
into the movie. It's like, Will Smith can't be dead. We've seen him in the trailer.
That's why it was cool and it worked. But that's not the second reveal. The second big one is that this their captain, who basically has put up with all their shit. He's extremely hilarious in this film. I forget what this guy actor's name is. You don't know?
don't remember.
Man, just fantastic. And you know, a guy gets shot and he doesn't want to let Mike Lowry on the team, Will Smith, to go and search for his own shooter. But you can tell that they've been through so much together that he cares about it. He's like, all right. So he starts to bend the rules and break the rules to allow Will Smith to go on his vengeance trip. And, it doesn't work out. And then they're talking about basically his life and moving forward and how the captain's like, you're kind of like, you're riding a horse who is aimless and you're passing another man and they ask you where you're going. You're like, I don't know, ask the horse. You need to get a control of your horse. And he's like, you want to come over and have some food? Not of your cooking. All right, we'll get pizza. Right then, Captain is sniped.
Yeah.
And that's been set up throughout the whole
It has,
film.
but I
People were
forgot
getting
about it.
sniped, and
I
I
was like,
forgot
oh,
about
no.
it, and it surprised me. I was like, fuck. What's his name, Joe?
His name is Joe Pants.
Yeah, that's not.
Sounds
That's
like
not
Pants. How would you say it?
Pantalones, Joe? Great.
Captain Howard.
Sure.
Joe.
We'll just
Pantoliano.
leave a fellow Joe. Fantastic. Well, unfortunately,
He did.
he dies in this film, and it's sad because he was at his daughter's, basketball game, and so he passes away, and that sort of gives, Mike Lowry even more reason to, do that, and then also Martin Lawrence's character kind of suits back up as a police officer because he was going in and out of retirement, and he's like, one last ride, let's do this. And then it gets to the third reveal. So this shooter, the son of this cartel witch, is revealed to be Mike Lowry's son.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was like,
Because he was deep undercover and he was the driver for the wife. And they got intimate. The boss could not have any kids, so it's his kid.
I know, but just so many great jokes resulted from this. There's
If
scene
they
on a
didn't,
plane.
they made fun of how dumb it was themselves, and
Yeah.
it's like, all right, if you acknowledge
That's
that
right.
what you did was stupid, I'll laugh with you.
Exactly. If they took it too seriously,
Oh,
and
that
they
would've been
didn't, and they made some great jokes about it on the plane, and he's like openly talking about him having sex with his witch, like why did he get a condom, and everybody's like looking, and he's like, all right, let's do this, ride together, die together, fly together, die together. Everyone's like, what? No, I see how y'all on the plane would be a little nervous. No, that's our thing, and I know, just funny ass
That's
shit.
good, yeah.
So, whereas the film goes through quite a bit of action. They're chasing a guy down, basically a second lieutenant. Throughout the whole thing, and get him in a club. There's some action scenes there, geriatric action scenes where it's like Will Smith wants to leap and slide down Jackie Chan style, and then gets in a car and goes after the guy who got on a motorcycle. But Marcus doesn't do that. He just goes down
He's
the
like,
stairs.
come on, jump. He's like, no.
Just ruined the whole reason why I jumped.
I told you I wasn't going to jump.
I wasn't going to do that. I was like, I love it. It's just friendship and cool shit. He goes after, and they get trapped. And this team shows up several times to kind of get them out of jams and stuff. But the team was cool. So we got 4 members of the team. We got a tech guy who's kind of big and buff. There's a backstory with him that he used to be a bouncer, punched out a guy, killed him, and so he doesn't want to resort to that stuff anymore. There's a badass weapon expert, and she kicks ass, slides all over the place, Mortal Kombat style, and boom, just ridiculous stuff. But it's
she
fun.
got shot, and then the very next scene, there's no sign of her being injured at all. It's just like, wait, what happened?
Then the lieutenant, who is a little bit of a love interest for Will Smith, and by the end they kind of get together. It's implied that they're gonna start dating and stuff again because they had previously dated. Because Will Smith has got to date everybody,
A dumbass.
right? And a dumbass because he could have been with her. And then the asshole of the group, whose specialty is
To be an asshole.
being an asshole, to drive the drones, I guess, was his job. And but there's some funny interplay there. It's like a younger version of Will Smith, and so they Will Smith and him have a lot of shit talking to make up. It's funny because guy is getting a lot of shit from Will Smith, and Will Smith is winning in terms of their pissing match. And then when they go to the club to get that second lieutenant, Will Smith can't get in the club anymore because these girls are so young and in the
They're
clique.
50.
And his connection's
he's
gone.
like 55. His connections go, whoo,
It's like,
And
no.
so then that young guy walks up. Oh, he knows their names by name, what
like,
they've
of
been
course,
doing.
yeah.
It's like, can you let my uncle in here? He's going through a rough time, divorce. He's like, no, right. He's slipping, And it's great, man. The dialogue is written so smartly. There are moments where, Will Smith's fired up because he's just been fucking attempted murdered, and you don't do that to Mike Lowry. And he's like, let's strap up or let's ride up or whatever, the terminology he used. And Martin Lawrence, Marcus is like, what are you, 20? Why are you talking like this?
We're old.
We're old. Like, cut it the fuck out. Cut your losses and retire and relax. But obviously, you
It's
can't.
like
Can't tell
you
him
didn't
to
lose.
stop.
You're still alive.
Right.
Just forget about
Exactly.
it. They have somebody else working on it.
That's what's so great about the film, that it's you could see yourself
wants
saying
justice.
these things in these situations, and you believe the character motivations. And when they get put into these situations, when it goes over the top, it's fun over the top, and it's cheeky over the top, and not taken too serious. And so then you're along for the ride because your suspension of disbelief has been set up correctly. You don't mind that every once in a while a single bullet will blow up a whole fucking
wooden
car
table.
and a wooden table, which was hilarious. Or that Mike has a machine gun and there's a helicopter, and he doesn't just continue to pour fire into the helicopter.
see.
To
He can't see.
They're just
But-
firing in the streets too.
Culminates into a final battle where by then
You
I'm
need one?
already satisfied with the
need one?
film. And then they go into the final battle where they go to Mexico and take on the matron and
They
her
invade
son.
Mexico.
And it's originally just the two guys, but then the team shows up to help them out, which is cool. Gunplay and gunfighting in this is awesome, filmed very nicely and sweet. Then it comes into a final battle where, another helicopter shows up, and Marcus is like, God, where are they getting all these helicopters?
It's the cartel,
They're paying all
man.
these helicopters. But now he's got his glasses on. He's actually one-shotting people, which is fucking hilarious. And then he's like, I'm going to get the pilot. And then Will Smith's like, don't get the pilot. Hit the rotors. He's like, I got the pilot. He's like, you idiot. And then the helicopter crashes down there, creates a fire
The
hazard.
team should have died.
Yeah.
The team probably should have died. from
Everyone
Marcus.
should
Like,
have died.
Yeah, because you see the
rotor
propeller,
blades
the rotor
and
blades
shit.
just like right next to him. It's like, oh, then a second later, explosion.
It would have been awesome if they were like, what the fuck, Marcus? And he's like, I'm sorry. Like, it could help justify it even more. But it's down to the final battle, which is Will Smith versus his son. And at first you're thinking, well, maybe it couldn't be, Marcus
he
was
went
like,
there to
maybe it's
kill
not
him.
your son. You're projecting. He's not the fucked up version of you. You're the fucked up version of you, But it turns out to actually be his son. And they're fighting, and Will Smith has the upper hand, could have killed him, but lets him go. And this confuses.
Sees a mirror is like, this is my son. What am I doing?
And this confuses his son, who is a stone cold killer. He killed all those people
He
we
knew
talked about
nothing.
on the motorcycle, killed their captain.
And he's the coolest action sequence in this. This movie starts with him like killing 5 dudes real fast with a knife. That was
real
awesome.
cool.
It was a really cool
Yeah.
scene.
And they kind of make him out to be a little bit of a superhero kind of thing. Not really, but just well trained.
Yeah.
In this universe, he's just an average dude.
Sure. But Will Smith tells him, "I'm your father." I thought he would say, "I am your father."
No, I am your
No,
father.
he's like, "You're my son," is what he says, and he can't believe it, and he sees his mom coming, who he thought was previously gone or dead or whatever. But is it true? And she's like, "It doesn't matter," and so she tries to
say no.
She tries to shoot Will Smith, but the son gets in the way a little bit. He's surprised by it, and he's shot. And you think, he's going to die, but he doesn't die. Marcus falls, and he's about to fall where the helicopter fell, and Will Smith can't hold on to him. And so they get, the son to help. So the son does something good, even though he's done way more bad than good. He helps.
He didn't know any better. He
His
was
father's
just listening
friend.
to his mom.
They kill his mom. The mom is actually shot by Will Smith's new girlfriend.
I don't know why he wasn't pissed
multiple
off about
times.
that. He's like,
Yeah.
Well, she's a crazy ass bitch.
that was his mom.
Right.
He knew her for 20 years.
Oh, you mean him, the son? Yeah, he could have been more upset over that.
Yeah.
But maybe he just felt manipulated.
He was
because
woozy. He was losing a lot of blood.
She was lying to him the whole time, and so
Yeah,
he felt
yeah.
a little manipulated. I skipped over the fact that Martin Lawrence gets a fight scene, but it's with the mother, and she kicks the shit out of him. Everybody kicks the shit out of Martin Lawrence in this
He's
film.
getting old.
The few times that, even when he wasn't old, he would get his ass kicked. The few times that he comes and runs after the son, he just it's like one move to knock his ass out. And it's fucking hilarious. But he's fighting with her, and he actually gets the upper hand on her and stuff. And he's like, "Yeah, that's what did he say? That's what you get. That's what witch. He uses witch instead of bitch. It was hilarious. It was perfectly timed because they've been talking about she's a literal witch the whole time. They filmed the scenes like she's got some sort of otherworldliness to her.
The voodoo powers.
Fantastic, great, well executed, well shot. Action scenes, I could see stuff. Performances were great. Comedy, great. Dialogue, great. Just great overall. And that's why it's a 9 out of 10 for me and an 8 out of 10 for y'all. Anything else?
The very last scene.
Get these guys to write and direct the next Rush Hour movie that we're maybe getting, because if they can do this year,
no more Rush Hour.
well, they're talking about doing it
Tucker.
right now.
I'd like to see Chris Tucker. Really, I didn't know that. Okay, and I like Jackie Chan. All right, but here's the thing. Yeah, because these guys were good. These guys. So the post-credit scene. So basically, his son doesn't die. Oh, I didn't get to that. So his son doesn't die, and he's like, "Look, I can't promise you that things are going to be okay, but I will promise you that I'll
kill
be there.
45 people.
I'll be there in your life. I'll visit you in jail, I guess is what he meant. And so it ends with the, surprisingly, his wife's not mad at him because he broke his fucking Nissan out of 10. His Nissan minivan was destroyed by an informant slamming and getting killed right before. But she's not mad at him, and Will Smith ends up to be the babysitter. And it's implied that Will Smith is going to date the other one, and the team is going to continue to work together. And I guess they're not getting shut down because at one point they were like, "We're shutting you down," but they're not shut down anymore, and they can continue to be Bad Boys for Life. Then it smashes to Bad Boys for Life, the title, but then it's not over. It goes to another scene, and we go in the prison. I'm like, oh, he's going to visit his son. Okay, that's fine. But he goes to visit his son, and he's like, "How you holding up?" And he's like, I don't even know what he says.
Paying my debt.
I'm paying my debts. Well, you got a lot of debt to pay. I may have a way that you could pay your debts sooner or quicker.
Pay off some of the debt.
Pay off some of the debt. I need you for a job. It's like, oh, come on.
No. Fucking hated that.
Like, this is one of those end credits of Fast and Furious scene, like, Jason Statham is going to return, and he's going to do
Look
this.
Look at fucking Independence Day 2. Did not work. Oh, it's Will Smith's son. Nobody cares. They were there for Will Smith. This is fine.
What is with Will Smith's son?
Yes, it's like
I don't
this
understand.
is done.
We just watched him
That's
be
it.
his own son in Gemini Man.
I think
too.
that has to. I know, and then
I don't
and
want
then
another
After
one.
Earth, and
Stop.
it's like stop with the Will Smith son
Yes.
bullshit. It's as if they think that his charisma is rubbing off on people, and then he's the next generation of Will Smith. No, he's not.
No.
We don't want to see him. Yes, he did that cool badass action scene at the beginning of the film, but no.
It served its purpose and let it stop.
So when you put something like that we know is never going to be fulfilled, unless this film does gangbusters at the box office, I guess they will start. Look, this film did well enough. It made me laugh well enough that I'm like, I thought this was the last one, but I'm willing to watch another one. You know, it's going to be hard as fuck. Look, I thought it was hard as fuck for this film to be be and they executed it.
Yeah.
Marcus
you earned
wants
another
to retire.
one if you
Let
want.
Marcus retire.
No.
God damn it.
Marcus
No, I'm done. I'm saying that this was a
Yeah,
perfect end
exactly.
cap.
Right.
Anything beyond this is unnecessary.
Right, and nobody wants to see the Ammo team or
No.
the Will
Fuck the
Smith
Ammo
son.
team.
No, they were good as supporting characters,
Leave 'em
likable, and that's fine. You know,
Leave 'em
Joe take them, leave them, but they were good as supporting
Yeah.
characters. Anyways, guys, highly satisfying. If there is another Bad Boys, I'm down for it, but I agree this should be the last one. I think the story is much well concluded, and I'm curious to see how critics take this one. Because
They're going to hate it.
They were really rough on the first two. So,
Yeah, well, we already know that they don't like it,
but
right?
the audience rating, I think, I predict will
Too
be
much
high.
action.
Yeah.
Great. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Click those links down below. Subscribe. Like the video. Do every single thing that YouTubers ask you to do.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
bells and stuff. and
Don't forget, help us with our ED.
Yeah. And
Excessive demonic.
see you guys on the next Angry Joe show.
Bye, guys.